Police are tonight investigating suspected arson in the deadly fire tragedy at Utumishi Girls Senior School in Gilgil that has left at least 16 students dead. Investigators have detained at least 10 learners to assist with the probe into the midnight inferno that gutted part of a dormitory block. As families mourn and survivors recount terrifying moments, fresh details are now emerging about what may have happened in the minutes before the fire broke out. Let's now cross live to NTV senior reporter Ibrahim Karanja, reporting live from Gilgil. Ibrahim, not a very good evening tonight. What is the latest?
Well, Ben, indeed, not a very good evening at all. This has been a very heartbreaking day for the past about 18 hours since when news broke out that fire had broken out here at Utumishi Girls Senior School. It has been a roller coaster of emotions from morning when parents were coming to this particular school. None of the parents, the more than 800 learners who were at school at that particular time knew the news they were coming to receive about their children. All of them had learned either from media or from WhatsApp groups of the school that there was a problem in the school, that fire had broken out in the school, but there was no further information. So you can imagine from different parts of the country, parents were all using different means of transport to try and get to Gilgil to establish the fate of their children. They knew there was fire, they knew some of them had lost lives, but none of them knew about the fate of their own. Now, that is why I'm saying it has been a roller coaster of emotions, because for those who got here and were lucky enough to find their children safe, or even at least injured but alive, you could see the relief on their faces. We found some of them in different corners of this particular area praying with their children, even as they drove back home. Then there is the unfortunate group, the group that has not known the whereabouts of their children up to this very minute. More than 16 parents who are waiting to be told, because look, they have not seen their children. Their fellow parents have gone home with their children. These ones have not seen theirs, but then again, they also have not identified the bodies. In fact, the pathologists are saying that the bodies are charred and some are burnt beyond recognition. So they will have to wait longer, perhaps even to tomorrow or the day after, for the DNA process to finally have a conclusion that, look, my daughter is no more, or my daughter is somewhere, perhaps. But the latest that we are getting now, in fact, this is information coming some few minutes before we went on air, is that the number of girls currently being investigated and being detained, because there are girls detained by the police, because the police believe that this is arson. This fire was on purpose. The number is 29 girls, actually, yeah, close to 30 girls who have been detained at the school administration and will be spending the night in there, even as they are asked questions by investigators on what they know about this. We also know, as a matter of fact, that more girls have been recalled back. These are girls who had already been released to their parents, have now been ordered to come back to school, because it appears that it's becoming bigger and the number could even be higher. So some of them who perhaps thought were off the hook and were released to their parents are now being recalled back. Of course, the administration and the police have already communicated to the parents, and we may expect that number to be higher even tomorrow. And even as authorities give us more information on what happened here at Utumishi. But it is a tragedy today, a tragedy that led to the deaths of learners, but also of parents. A mother who was driving to school to find out the fate of their child got into a tragic road accident and lost their lives, unfortunately. That is the weight of what happened at Utumishi tonight. And this is a story I prepared throughout the day regarding what happened here at Utumishi Girls Senior School, Ben.
At least 10 students are being held by police as investigators pursue the possibility that the deadly fire at Utumishi Girls Senior School in Gilgil may have been an act of arson. The fire, which claimed the lives of at least 16 students, broke out shortly after midnight inside the school's Melin Waithera dormitory block. Students who survived say it is routine for security lights inside the dormitories to be switched off every night at exactly 10 minutes past 10. By the time screams rang out from the dormitory, some students who checked their watches say it was already around 10 minutes past midnight. Investigators are also examining claims that the affected dormitory had been locked from the outside at the time the fire started. Only the upper floor of the Melin Waithera dormitory, known as Stanford, was consumed by the flames. The lower floor, known as Oxford, was not affected by the fire. Even as investigations continue, questions are emerging over whether pressure surrounding upcoming examinations may have played any role in the incident. Mid-term examinations at the school were scheduled to begin next Tuesday, June the 2nd, although investigators have not established any direct connection between the exams and the fire. The tragedy now adds to a growing pattern of student unrests reported across schools in Gilgil during the second term. Authorities are now under pressure to explain the apparent escalation of unrests in schools within the sub-county as grieving families continue to seek answers following one of the deadliest school fire tragedies in recent years. Following the tragedy, a total of 69 students were rushed to St. Joseph's Hospital in Elementaita with various injuries, some suffering fractures, while others sustained burn injuries. 62 of them were treated and discharged. The remaining 7 were transferred to hospitals in Nairobi for specialized treatment. In a separate tragedy linked to the incident, a parent of one of the students died following a road accident at Kikope while traveling to the school to check on her child. Although her daughter survived the fire, the mother died on the spot after the vehicle she was traveling in collided with a trailer. Her husband survived the crash and is currently receiving treatment in hospital. As investigations continue, with authorities hoping to establish the exact cause of the fire, who might have lit it up and whether there were signs that could have been avoided, the families of the 16 continue to mourn, even as detectives continue to question at least 10 learners who are still under investigations and assisting with these investigations. Ibrahim Karanja, NTV from Utumishi Girls Senior School in Gilgil, Nakuru County.
Our lenses will focus not only here at the scene of crime, that is Utumishi Girls Senior School, but we'll also go to the Naivasha Hospital morgue, where the remains of the deceased are being preserved tonight. Tomorrow, we'll expect parents there, perhaps for DNA samples to be taken and, of course, to be run against the remains there so that perhaps they'll conclusively know the fate of their children. So we still have long hours before this ends, but it is a country in mourning, Ben.
Thank you, Ibrahim Karanja. They are coming to us live from the Utumishi Girls School in Gilgil, a day of pain and anguish for parents and all involved.